Architectural Builders Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
It has like a gap underneath, about a 5/8 inch gap. And I was trying to seal that or try to just figure out the different solutions to do that. And two things that came up was either, it's kind of like an exterior door, but it's all concrete and there's like a wood, I guess, sill underneath. But it's like, I was looking at thresholds and I was looking at automatic door bottoms. And I'm just kind of curious to figure out, how do I choose between the two?
I think you need both in this instance. One doesn't really get installed effectively without the other.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you need something for your auto door bottom or a door sweep to seal against. Generally, that's a threshold. If you want it to be your wood sill, okay, have at it. But generally, you'd have one of each.
I see. Because, like specifically for the threshold, I was looking at the bumper type where, the door would just go up against it. And like, just to be sure, like this is like it goes into a house where we're not trying to like necessarily seal like for weather, because it goes into an open atrium. So it's like air. There's, so I don't care if like it's cold or whatever, cold air is going in and out. I just want to keep like pests out and to close the gap. So
yeah, well, the auto door bottom will close the gap when the door is closed. That's for sure.
The one thing is, I guess I'm curious how reliable they are, because I've seen different, people talking about, worked great until I installed it, and that sounds awful.
Sounds like it's a reflection of the skill of the installer.
Oh, okay. So is there like a model that you would recommend that's like super reliable and that's not going to fail? I mean, obviously it fail at some point.
I don't hear of them failing really ever. You want something surface mounted, I imagine?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, surface mounted, I like the look of the Mortise ones. That's a little more complicated, but I mean, in terms of reliability, are they both good to go? Because I mean, that's a big investment to Mortise it in, and then all of a sudden it first to fail. But it sounds like you're saying as long as it's installed correctly, it will not fail.
Well, those weren't my words, but I sell automatic door bottoms and have for 3 decades, and that product was patented or invented in the late 1930s, to my knowledge.
Okay.
And I never does anyone call me and say it just fell apart. Things are done to them or they're damaged or destroyed.
I'm sorry. I was going to say not that they fall apart, that they just like I've heard stories where like one side will go down and the other one doesn't follow. And then all of a sudden, just like little wonky issues where it's not retracting and whatever, coming down and retracting as expected.
Okay. So you've said 2 important things. So for every observation, there's an explanation when it comes to an automatic door bottom. The first thing you said is one end comes down and the other doesn't. So the way that automatic door bottoms work is one end comes down first. Imagine in your mind's eye scissors. Think of the rivet, the axis of pivoting. Well, one of those scissors drops first, and an automatic door bottom is like that. So the one side will drop, the hinge side, in fact. Once it hits the floor, it will then knife down. Now, imagine in your mind's eye you had a sloped floor where the gap from the bottom of the door to the floor is 1 inch at the hinge side, but it's only a 1/4 inch at the lock side. So if that thing drops on the hinge side first, it's never going to make contact with the floor to force the knifing action to seal at the lock side. So that is an issue with automatic door bottoms when floors are substantially out of level. And there's a reason that they operate that way. And the reason is when your door is being pushed closed and you get to like the last 5 inches or so, let's say the last 10 degree, if that thing dropped evenly, you're going to be dragging the bottom across the floor for the last 9, 8, 7, 0.321 inches if it didn't knife
Right.
down. So that's why it does that. And people say, hey, this doesn't seal. And then we talk about if the floor is level. No, that's why I bought this. The floor is not level. Well, you got a 50-50 chance. If it goes away from the hinge, you're okay. But this is an extreme situation where a floor is not level. The other thing you said about it not popping up or coming down, that's always when the installer has tightened the screws too tight. They just got in there with a 14-volt, cordless and just had at it. So you back those screws off and it works really nice and smooth.
Okay. I mean, you were saying, so that's helpful. What you were saying though, like, floor uneven, that sort of is my situation because, like I said, this is concrete. And so, they sort of shaped it so that it's, like water floods out or something like that, but flows in a certain direction. But that's also why the door itself was sort of like, it's, is a larger gap at one side than the other side. And so it's a weird situation that I'm trying to, like, I don't like the look of it and I just want to like close it and I want to, just close the gap when it's closed. So I don't know, if my floor is not even, I guess my point is if the floor is not even, does that exclude the use of a automatic door bottom?
Not really. I mean, it'll tolerate it being out of level to a slight degree. Plus also what you could do is install the thing so it's parallel to the floor as much as possible and not perpendicular to the jamb. So you can cheat it that way. Now, when you stand back, if it's excessive and you stand 10 feet back and really scrutinize it, you'll say, yeah, that's not even. That's not level. But, in the absence of a properly poured floor, you're going to have that trouble. That's a classic problem in construction where there's poured concrete, whether it be a condo building, that kind of stuff.
Right. Then I guess, what about the fact, the option of using, I know that you said they should go one together, but it almost seems like for my case, I'm not looking for like this proper seal per se, but I'm able to, I'm thinking like those bumper, like that is how I found you actually. It was like, we're looking up the videos for it and stuff, but I forget the model. It was the National Guard and it was like the 804 or something like that. Maybe something like that type of.
Wouldn't be the one that I would use. So the answer to the question that you asked earlier was 365AA. That's the part number of the one that I would use.
AA. That's the, what do you call it? 365AA that's the automatic door bottom.
That is an automatic door bottom by Zero. That is from a company who is known to make the highest quality and caliber of them. The National Guard stuff is good. I'm just telling you the one that I would use personally. And you do get what you pay for when it comes to automatic door bottoms. In your residential application, you're going to want one like the Zero product because it will have a integrated muting feature so that when you open the door and the drop bar snaps back up into the housing, it doesn't clank. It still will give off acoustical energy. You'll still hear it, but it's substantially muted substantially muted compared to other similar products by other manufacturers.
Well, what's the availability and the pricing on that? Do you know?
In stock, and then $96.94 for a 3-foot length.
For 3 foot. Okay, and then if I order that today, does that get shipped pretty soon?
Today or tomorrow. I mean, if you do it early enough today, it'll go today, but that window is rapidly closing, so it would go tomorrow.
Okay, cool. And are you in Florida? Is that right?
I am in Florida. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm in California, so that's fine. My question about the 804, that was talking about the threshold, the bumper threshold. And I was just trying to figure out, like, if I went that direction, on a, it's hard to just imagine. I mean, I guess you can imagine, you probably know all this stuff, but it's like, is that a viable option too, or why would I not go that direction?
The direction of using an automatic door bottom with a bump up threshold?
No, just a bumper threshold, no automatic door bottom. Just if I want to, because,
you can.
If I just want to.
Sure. The inherent disadvantage is you're going to install the threshold down to a floor that you already know is not level. So there's no elegant way to really fix that. Plus, you're going to have something that you have to step over now. Not that it would be a tripping hazard, but the advantage of the automatic door bottom is in this head-to-head competition is you can cheat the fact that you're not level. Plus, you never have to worry about walking over something.
Right.
So
right.
It's really six half dozen the other, but but gasketing is used in concert with each other. Sweeps go with thresholds, automatic door bottom. These things are used together. But if you're going to use one or the other, I might, depending on how bad your floor was out of level, I might opt for the automatic door bottom, or I might say no, I'm not going to spend $100. I'm going to spend a third of that and get a threshold.
Okay. Okay, no, those are super helpful. Any other questions I have right now? No, not offhand, but thank you so much.
You bet. My name is Richard. Call anytime. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Bye. One day has elapsed from the first telephone call to the second, and I think the client in the second conversation is just looking to solidify their understanding of the products that they are considering purchasing. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video.
Okay, or something like that, and then the PEMCO 434 or something like that. I guess my question is, if you're choosing between PEMCO and Zero, is it that big of a difference?
Well, how? I mean, what are you measuring them? What's the criteria that you're measuring them by?
I just want something that's going to work and that not going to give me problems.
Both will meet those basic criteria.
Okay. If I had to choose one, like, what's the criteria that's going to say this is how you know that you need to go with one versus the other? Because also, I guess, availability, stuff like that, just timing. I don't know. I guess they're all available, so that's not an issue. But yeah, what's the criteria that would make a difference?
The criteria would be the amount of surface area that would be making contact with the floor or the threshold. And then additional features that they may have in terms of which one would be more aesthetically pleasing. Between the two, PEMCO doesn't address the clanking sound when the unit comes back up into the housing, where the 365AA does. If this door is opened often, I would not consider anything but a design that did have anti-squeak or whatever they call it, rubber in it. I've had people return them because they're too loud, and you may be that next person who doesn't like the sound. So that would be
okay.
Yeah, that would be where. And then also, what are they certified for? Is one acoustically rated and the other is not? Are they fire rated? Do you need either of those? Does it matter? What's the most important, driving decision? Is it cost? If it's cost, then go with the PEMCO.
I see. So, I mean, I have I don't know if sound's going to be, it's not like a door, it's a front door, but it's a door that we don't use very often, ironically. But it's like, it goes into, so I don't think sound's necessarily an issue. The biggest gap that I'm closing is, I think, 5/8 of an inch. So I think both of those cover that. Like on the PEMCO side, if I was trying to choose between the EPMD and the PEMCO Cream, like what's your thoughts on that?
Well, the EPDM would be the one that I would use because it's basically sponge-like and would give better sound attenuation. Okay, that excuse my ignorance there. Attenuation meaning that it's like it's for soundproofing, basically, right? Right. Yeah, exactly. It would retard the transmission of sound. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir. That spongy type stuff would be better. Whereas the PEMCO Preen is like a silicone. It's closed cell, and it would be more akin to a diver's wetsuit or rubber on a car. You don't want anything to permeate that, but when it comes to sound, you want to disrupt it as it transfers through, not giving it any hard surfaces. So to be really nerdy about it, something sponge-like would be superior for sound attenuation.
Okay, if I didn't care about sound, because again, it goes into an open area, it's like an atrium, so it's like there's sounds anyways, and so sound's not an issue. This is just mostly like just trying to close the gap, keeping any pests out, stuff like that. Is that still, would you still go with, and it's going to be on over like 2 concrete slabs that are connected with like you can imagine, like some people put rocks in between. This one's just like a piece of wood in between, right?
I would probably be tempted to go with the Pemco-Prene in this instance because it's more flexible. It will compress better, and I think it will be more tolerant of your installation.
Does the zero, they don't give the different options, or maybe they do, but I was looking at the Mortise version, the 3644. I think it's the 3. I'm getting confused with all the numbers. Let's see, what is it? 0364AA is what I was looking at.
Okay.
Does that is that the right material for, like, I guess the instances that we were talking about, or the things that I've just mentioned?
Well, what you're saying is you don't care necessarily strongly about anything that that you're trying to address. So at that point, the difference between the 6.4 and the 6.5 is just one surface mounted or semi mortised, and the other's mortised. So, if you have the ability to route the bottom of the door, conceal the hardware. Well, hide it when you can. Why do you want to see a big piece of hardware on your door?
For sure. Okay. No, I was just saying, because I know that on the Zero side, I looked at one of their diagrams or somewhere, and it was it showed one had like a sort of like a rubber, a different material maybe, or different look. It was, and then like a spongy type thing, and then the other one was like a double one. So I'm trying to figure out, for my application, is the 364A with a single whatever bulb thing, is that the right one versus the other two?
I don't know if it's the right one, because I don't know why you want one over the other. I would say that it would be very capable, and it will certainly seal the bottom of the door, helping keep pests out, and the added benefit of, sound attenuation, weather coming through. It would be an exceptional choice. Have you someone or the skill set to mortise the bottom of the door? Do you know how to prep the door for a 364?
I don't know how to. I have somebody, a carpenter, who supposedly knows how to.
Oh, okay. So. Yeah, if you've got that person in your back pocket, then go for it. But the mortise type, the advantages already stated. The disadvantages, now, this is something that you probably can't do yourself, so you're going to have to hire someone. So let's say this guy, if I were to do this work, and I've got all the right tools, prepping the door would be very quick and easy, but you still got, for sure, a couple hours of carpenter time, guaranteed. So, I would consider that overall cost, because if you bought the Pemco or the Zero surface mounted, if you can't install that yourself, then we need to talk to your parents. It's easy is what I'm saying. It's easy. If I can do it, I know that you can do it. So that I would put that into context as well. Do you want to hire someone to do it? Is the advantage of it being concealed worth the extra cost? My opinion is absolutely it is. Hide the hardware. I sell hardware and I still want it hidden.
I see. That's interesting though. I mean, we were thinking, I think definitely hiding it seems to be our preference, but I like the idea, obviously, to install it myself, but, okay. So, I guess if I'm comparing like the 0364AA and the Pemco 434, and I mean, even Pemco, I'm wondering, are there other ones that you would recommend? But let me know if there's another Pemco that's better than the 434. But if I'm comparing those two, so it's two questions. Is there better Pemco? And then if not, then what do you call it? Comparing those two, would I go wrong going with Pemco, or is it okay to go with, or Zero is just go with Zero, something like that? There's no question to it.
Well, when I look at the 434 by Pemco, it looks like you're really in the same price range. The bottom line is I don't prefer Pemco because It doesn't have the muting feature, the muffling feature, and the thickness of the extrusions are thinner. When that aluminum is extruded, it's a thinner wall thickness. It's thinner material. You're getting less aluminum. Does that really matter? No, it really doesn't. But at the end of the day, if Zero can sell me a thicker piece of aluminum for basically the same price as Pemco's thinner material, you know what? I'll probably take the thicker material. But that muffling, that muting feature, that's really, I would absolutely prioritize that, because you're going to hear the door. You're going to hear it snap back up when you open the door if you're listening for it. If you're not listening for it, you'll still realize there's a sound. But if you sound tested both of them, you're like, oh my goodness, I only want the Zero from now on out, because it's substantially muted. Because with that Pemco, it's metal hitting, it's aluminum hitting aluminum.
Right. And you've had people return it because it's so loud?
I had a client 20 years ago look at me like I had three heads. How I didn't understand how impossible it was that I would sell that to someone with how offensive the sound was. And I said, wow, you're right. I never thought of it. I spent selling hardware for 5 years at that point. I says, I never thought of it. And when I then paid attention to it, I said, yeah, that is an awful clanking sound. But I never thought of it. Now think of all of the hospitals. Think of all of the institutions, the airports, the high profile projects that automatic door bottoms are installed in. And then to have one person, actually two people in 30 years have really said it. It just made me realize, well, you get all types. But now I mention it because I think her bedside manner, it happened to be a her, didn't matter. I think the bedside manner, the way they made me aware of that, was a little askew, but the point was valid. It does make a sound, and it's noticeable, especially if you're listening for it. And for that reason, I would go with a product that had that feature, the Zero product. Legacy might have it as well, but now you're just variations on a theme.
You cut out a bit, the last bit.
Yeah, there are other people who make anti-muffling, features, but it's variations on a theme at that point. The Zero is the name that everyone knows. It's an extremely high-quality product. You can't go wrong with it. You just
Zero's been in the business. They've been cool. I was trying to look for information about Zero, and I just maybe I'm looking in the wrong places, but I'm not, seeing it. But I hear are they especially into sound stuff, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, most definitely. Zero has been a name for decades in the weather stripping business. Their product line is absolutely focused on sound transmission control. They have products engineered for that purpose that other people do not have such a full featured product line. The Pemcos of the world are the stuff that you would kind of find in the Home Depots of the world. It's a different perspective on what products you bring to the marketplace. Pemco is not out there trying to solve the hard-to-solve problems. They're out there trying to sell billions of door sweeps. And they do a great job at it. But, someone calls and asks my opinion, there's my opinion.
Okay, no, that's fair. It's great. So then, just circling back, sorry, one more thing. This is super helpful. One more thing about Pemco. If I was going Pemco, and I think it's 434, is there a better model or different model that you would steer me towards, or is that their best?
If you want, that's their top of the line kind of stuff. If you want a more to style, the 434 ARL would be really great. You're not going to go wrong with Pemco. You just aren't, is the bottom line.
Okay, super helpful again. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you called.
All right. Talk to you. Well, we'll see. I'll place my order as soon as I can. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
As you'll hear coming up, the client has purchased the material, but after the purchase did further research to find out, after reviewing the manufacturer's published data, that the end caps weren't included.
And as I'm speaking to the client, I'm thinking in my head, I'm pretty sure they're already in the box. And they are, of course, in the box. And it is, of course, true that you can prep the material without the end caps. That can, my experience tells me that it can go on indefinitely without end caps. It is a cosmetic concern. That seal is not going to move or creep severely. Again, if it does, as I had said earlier, if it does, you might want to pinch that bar a little bit to prevent it from doing so, but not so much that you will find that it is difficult to remove that in the future if you wanted to replace it. Just a little pinch is all you need with your needle nose at the very most. So we're going to call the client next week, confirm that they've received the material, and then start discussions about the physical prepping of the door. That's the next time we'll pick this up. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video.
I looked at the order, I looked at the page again, because I watched the video, and it said that the hardware was concluded, and like including the end caps. And I looked at the page again, and it says that the end caps have to be purchased separately. So I was confused, and I sent an email, and I said if the end caps and all that aren't included, then to cancel the order, and I haven't received a response yet, so I just trying to follow up on that.
Why don't we just get the end caps for you?
Well, the end caps are like, according to the page, it says it's 20 days out, and I'm trying to rush this order, so
Why don't you do
I
the
paid
installation and we'll ship the end caps to you separately. You don't need them to do the installation.
What do you call it? The end caps, do you have to install it?
No.
Like, I guess once the door is off, right, I'm going to have somebody get the door off, install it, et cetera, et cetera. And then, yeah, I mean, I don't know what you need to do to the end caps, if you have to, like, screw some holes on it afterwards, if you can get to each side of the door easily or not. I don't know.
If you
tell
can
me.
open the door to 90 degree, you can install the end caps. They're just surface applied to the edge of the door.
And do you have to drill holes, or are the holes there for the end caps?
No, you don't have to. The hardware is completely prepped to be installed.
Okay, let's see. Hold on, let me think. If I can open the door 90, because this is an exterior door. If I can open the door 90 degrees.
So the end cap is just a rectangular piece of aluminum that just surface mounts right over the prep. They're not, and half the time I see them installed, they're the auto door bottoms. People don't even install those. So what I'm saying is your installation doesn't have to wait for this, and it's something that once you get the end cap, you can easily attach. So it's not, it's not.
It seems
not
okay. Okay, let me ask you this then. What do you call it? Okay, there's two bits to it. Well, one is the end cap, right? One is the like another detail. Like, I guess it was a question on the other page, and I think it was maybe in the video. But like, say the insert, does that fall out? Like, unless you crimp it? Okay.
Well,
and then do the end caps help? Do the end caps have anything to do with helping, like, keep that thing secure?
No, they're just cosmetic. The piece is not going to encroach out of there, and if it does, it would be imperceptible.
Because I saw a question there, and I think in the
656 -4. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that I had seen, in the video you mentioned that to possibly crimp it, and then even on the question, there was somebody asked a question, you said just crimp it, and then I was just like, I prefer not to have to crimp anything.
Well, the end cap is not going to do the job of keeping that from moving necessarily, so I think you're going to crimp it anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So you're saying you have to crimp it. Is that a design flaw?
6, -4. I don't know anything about design flaws with that Zero product. I'm just looking, confirming that the end caps aren't included, or at least they're not in our inventory.
Yeah, that's strange to me because I thought that they would be, and then it's like all hardware
There's
end
end
caps
caps
is
included.
all. Huh?
Yeah, end caps are included. They're in the box.
They are included.
Well, yeah, what we're going to ship you is they're in the box. The manufacturer's publication says that they're not included, but the inventory we have has the end caps in them.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's why in the video you said, oh, because I think, yeah, you said they are included, and I was just like, just thrown for a loop because I was like, okay, they're not. I was like, wait a second, and then I have to buy them separately and et cetera, et cetera. Okay. If they're included, so then what do you call it? Okay, that's fine. So will that go out today?
it will.
And for the
So
2-day, I put 2-day on there. Yeah.
So this is not
Go for it.
returnable. Just I want you to know that up front because I don't want you to feel like you're backing yourself into a corner on this material. Well, it's not that it's not returnable. If you look at it and want to send it back, that there's a restocking fee, but it won't be the end of the world. So I just wanted to clear that up front.
Okay, I didn't realize that either. I don't know if I think I saw also on the site. I didn't even know if there's, I guess maybe I didn't look at it clearly, but yeah, I thought that there was, so you're saying it is returnable, there is a restocking fee. What's the restocking fee on it? Just curious.
30%.
30%, okay, because look, okay, that's pretty crazy. I mean for me, but yeah, that's what do you call it? Let me ask you this question. So I've been calling you the past couple of days trying to figure out, what to order, and it's, what do you call it? And it sounded like this versus like PEMCO, and then I mean, what do you call it? Is it and I'm paying an extra cost for this because I need the PEMCO is easy. You can get that easier than you can get the Zero, right?
I'm not.
But
I'm
for
not
whatever
talking
reason,
you into PEMCO or Zero. You.
Oh no, I'm
giving you my
you.
professional opinion, and then you decide.
Yeah.
So.
Right, for sure. No, I'm not saying that you're talking me into it. I never said that. Those are your words. I'm saying to you, I've been talking to you. I've been hearing these things. I've made a decision to, that this seems like it based on whatever, my own reasons, right? And I'm saying to you, am I hearing it correctly, or am I going to just be fine with PEMCO? And I mean, like, this is not the, like, like PEMCO's not going to, like, here's one key issue, and that you tell me, my gap, the largest part of my gap is like 5/8 of an inch, 0.625, right? I know that PEMCO can go max out at 0.75, so it covers it. Is that additional, like, it's like a 1/8 of an inch difference? Like, I don't know. I feel, for me, because I don't know how the product works as well, but I know that the other one is 1 inch and it gives you more give. When you get to that, like, when you get to the extremes or when you get to that end, is it like, is it hard to get that 1/8 of it? Like, is it hard for it to, like, come down all the way, or will it just come down all the way and and that's totally fine?
Well, I would say that you may not be totally fine if the maximum drop on a door bottom was 3/4 inch and you weren't going to start to activate until you had reached 5/8 of that. That only allows you 1/8 of an inch. So if your margin is different from, is more than from one side to the other, more than 1/8 of an inch, I would think the PEMCO would be disqualified from consideration.
Okay, I'm not sure if I follow what you said. I'm sorry. So in my case, the point, so you're saying, like, if the activation, like, I get thrown for a loop, sorry, this is early for me too. I mean, not early, everybody, but I just woke up and I was like, wait, what's going on? Okay, so, what am I saying? So would you mind repeating that to me, please?
Sure. So you said that a door bottom that you're considering has a maximum drop of 3/4 inch.
Yes.
Okay. You're concerned that because you're already at 5/8 of a gap, are you painting yourself into a corner with that product? I'm saying that yes, possibly you are, because if all that you have is an additional 1/8 of an inch of drop to be able to draw upon to make a complete seal, you may not be best served by a product that may not be able to fill that gap completely. So the data that I don't know is, you got 5/8 on one side. What is it on the other side?
It's shorter on the other side. That's why I said the largest gap is 5/8. It's sort of slanted. So when it gets to the other side, it's that's the highest
But
point
how much?
is like on the lock side.
But how much more?
Probably how much more? I mean, honestly, I didn't even measure that side because I wasn't too concerned with that side. But probably it goes up to maybe like half an inch. Let's just say that.
So are you saying that the gap is reduced from 5/8 to ½ inch?
That's right.
Okay. So I don't, in that, two things. I don't think you'd have a problem with an item that is near its maximum drop. It should work. Number two is because your gap goes up from the hinge side to the lock side, there's the possibility that you're going to drag the seal across the floor when you have the bar already set so that it drops practically to its maximum. So you may not be best served in the PEMCO because you happen to be dealing with sizes that are right at its limit based on your actual conditions. It may work, but we're dealing with data that you think is what it is. And based on what we've discussed, yes, it will probably work. But if there's a 1/16 of an inch plus or minus, it will contribute to it not working as well because you're at that 3/4 inch basically immediately to begin with.
Okay.
Like I said,
and then,
since if you recall my words, you'll also recall that
sure.
I said I think you won't go wrong with either product. And I know that I've also said if it was me, I'd use the Zero product. I like the thicker extrusion. I like the higher build quality. I like the anti-muffling. If I were you, I wouldn't be considering the PEMCO, period. I wouldn't even think about it anymore because the price is the same between the two relatively, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Zero has a product feature that disqualifies the PEMCO from further consideration. And as a result, it's got two for sure. It's got the greater drop so that you have more envelope to draw on, but also, it's not going to make nearly as much noise.
What about the seal itself? Like, I know they're a little different. I was looking at the PEMCOprene versus this one. They seem to be comparable. I'm just wondering, like, will that seal, like, I have that sort of situation, like the concrete, and I'm just trying to block out any pests and SIP mostly. That's what my concern is. Is it a good seal in that case?
It's an exceptional seal.
Okay. And then, let's see, what else? I mean, I purchased it, and then I guess, what do you call it? The thing that was concerning, it sounds like it has the hardware, so that's fine. And then what do you call it? And now, you tell me, obviously, when you're saying, you have this restocking fee, that kind of makes a person uncomfortable just because.
That's published on the website. I'm not making that up. That's there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I'm being proactive and letting you know because my interpretation is you are not fully convinced that this is going to work exactly how you want. So I want you to have all the information.
Okay, no, fair enough. I appreciate that. And what do you call it? And so, and plus you've helped me a lot, so that's why I want to purchase from you. So what do you call it? So I'm saying to you, okay, so I'm just trying to clear all my questions here, and then what was I going to ask you? So then that thing, warranty-wise, one reason I was going to go with PEMCO is because it seems like PEMCO had 5-year warranty on the product, and Zero only had a 1 year. Can you speak to that?
No, I don't know what PEMCO's warranty. I don't know. I don't have memorized either of their warranties. I would be surprised to learn that PEMCO's was any more than 1 year.
Oh, really? Okay. Is that something that you can have read? Do you have access to that information right now on your products, or?
Well, just pulling up the catalog.
And I mean, is it true that Zero is 1 year?
I would imagine that's the case. I don't have these things memorized.
Okay, because those are important too. Yeah, I don't know. You seem to be like an encyclopedia of information.
The catalog does state our products are guaranteed for 5 years against defects in material or workmanship. PEMCO's catalog does say that.
Okay.
You know what the Chicago Symphony Orchestra used when they built their new stage?
Is it going to be zero? Probably. Well, zero because probably they're so concerned. I mean, like I said, I think I got the idea, and you even mentioned it. I think is that they're really big on sound, right? Sound. Like if you have to do searches on Google, it's hard to find things, but you'll find that people talking about on forums about zero products.
How great it is.
So I think that
it's not only the fact that it's been tested, but the fact that it doesn't fall apart. I wouldn't be concerned about either of these products falling apart. If anything, I've had a tenfold greater warranty issue with PEMCO products than zero.
Okay.
And that's based on an adjusted measure. You'll sell 100 to 1, but there's still 10 times more PEMCO warranty issues.
No, I mean, I just going around like whatever information, but let me ask you that you're in the industry, you know it, but that you have competitors too, right? And there's like main competitors. I don't even know if they're competitors. They could be part of your business too. I don't know, right? So that's, I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying that honestly, from a consumer who doesn't know much about this space, and then you see like 3 people, and they're all seem to be pushing zero, and it's either one. I'm trying to be straight up with you. Is either one, because zero is like the standout, is like is truly the premium product within the group, or it's because like I ran into this with stain. I was looking for stains and stuff, and all of a sudden I didn't, as I was learning, then there was this one. It was just because SEO marketing. Everything was just like being pushed to this one brand, and it was the same, like 5 different websites owned by the same company.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
What do you think?
So that's where my skepticism. For me, just looking at it, this is my silly ideas of it. I don't know, so I started looking around. But when I look at and this is like probably petty, right? So I'm looking at the quality of like even the instructions, quality of the information given, looking at the brochures, just how they sort of like do it. I feel like it's a higher end quality even in that when I look at the materials, right? Because I'm looking at measurements, I'm looking at that. They give very specific measurements, specifications, stuff like that. So for me, that's helpful, and that is indicative of a higher quality, right? So I think it's actually true, and I looked at the company. It's owned by the company that owns Slage. I like Slage hardware for whatever reason. So I feel like, okay, I mean, it's not like PEMCO's bad. And it's not like I think because they also probably are reputable, et cetera, et cetera. But, and it's the same price point relatively or whatever, right? So that's why I had chosen to go with zero. You guys were saying it. I think zero is the better product in some sense, or a higher quality end, or maybe you specialize in there, But again, I don't know. So I'm just being honest to you. That's where I'm coming from, and I was convinced
you being anything other than honest. But my question is what does your gut feeling tell you? Is it a mass industry-wide collusion pushing people towards zero, or is it possible that
yeah.
it's
right.
At the end of the day,
I think it's too small of a niche. Yeah.
Far too small. It's a specialty product, and that's an understatement. A guy who does it is telling you use the zero, but both are going to be good.
Right.
But if you came to my house, you'd find zero.
Okay. No, I mean, and like I said, and like I can just the sense I get. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I think that I like the videos that you put out on. I like that. I like the information that you're going through. I like all of that. So that's again. So I'm sort of just trusting that and leaning on towards that. So it's fine, But anyways, the point about the what is it, the restocking fee? Yeah, I appreciate you telling me that. But and then just when you hear that, it's like fine, it's like it feels very final. But I mean, whatever's, So I'm already in it for like $80 for shipping, So I'm like, and my question there is that guaranteed $80, or is that like an estimate and it could be less?
It will not be less. That is the 8115 is the cost to ship that from Southwest Florida to the Pacific Ocean. So
okay, so then that's fine. Okay, and is that gonna go like the it's 2 days, right? So then does that mean it will get here? What is it? Does Friday include one day, or is it just Monday, Tuesday?
It's definitely going to be Tuesday when it would arrive.
Okay. Do you know is there a guarantee? Like, is that going to be early morning, or is there no guarantee time?
So that question is for the carrier, but I can tell you that when it's 2-day service, that is what they call a guaranteed service, but it's not an AM. 2-day is the the second business day after it ships when the standard driver arrives. The only one that's AM is either overnight or early AM overnight. Everything else is when the driver arrives.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, I mean, no, okay, that's fine. So for sure the hardware's there and everything's there. And if I have issues with it, if it's like, you know, this is brand new, right? Brand new, everything's in good condition. I shouldn't have a problem with it. And no, that's fine. Just, I guess, go forward with it.
I don't have a problem with it as far as the role that we are playing. And I will follow up with you next week. I'm going to call you next week to discuss the installation. The other thing that I'd want you to consider is when the person that you've hired gets there to install it, get me on the phone with him. And the reason is because I don't sell the product. I sell everyone's product, but I have done it myself. When I say that I've machined doors, I've machined tens of thousands of doors personally with either a hammer and chisel all the way up to a CNC. So I understand what has to be done. And part of what you're getting when you buy from us is 8 decades of 5 generations of my family that sell hardware. We know how to do it, and we will hold hands with you and go through the process.
Okay. I appreciate that.
So, if your guy balks at all, your guy might walk in and be like, yeah, I can do this. I do it all the time. Or your guy might balk, and you're like, wait a minute, let me get this other guy on the phone. Because, this is not hardware 101 level. This takes someone who knows what they're doing.
Okay. I mean, I feel my guy's pretty good at this stuff, but, any information is going to be always helpful. And hopefully he doesn't balk at it. And I'm like, I'm in it for them. I'm stuck with something then. But, yeah.
Well, that's you're the GC in this triad here. You're running the show. You got to make sure that your guy can do it. I expect that you have already sent a cut sheet to the installer, and they've signed off on their ability to do it.
Oh yeah, no, nothing of that sort. I'm not even that close to that. But I think we'll be okay. I mean, this is a random question too. Like, there's somebody here that can do it. Is that fair to say? Somebody in California that can do it.
I would say that it's fair to say that there is someone in California that has the skill set, but finding that person can sometimes prove to be the challenge.
Okay. Is it super challenging to get it? Because I know there's some precision that's required, and I don't know. I'm just wondering, like, where's the challenge? Where's the really difficult? Like, if you measure right and you know how to work the tools and you know how to cut it, is there something that's in addition to that you really need to know, or is there like some gotcha there somewhere?
I don't think there's any gotcha, but if I handed you the tax code and your tax returns and said, sit down and do your taxes, and you're like, I can't do this. What it actually is you can do it, but you just don't right now have the experience to do it. So once you learn to do it, you're exceptional at it. And it's the same with this automatic door bottom. I can do it, but I've never done it, so I have to learn how to do it. So you want to find someone that doesn't have to learn that step.
Gotcha. And is it like, when you learn it, like, is it possible, like, if I say, hey, I just want you to be, because, I want to, I got a brand new door, I want you to be super, take care of it. Like, is it fair enough to, like, practice cutting this thing on, like, some dummy thing, or is that going to give?
Yeah.
Okay.
If they've never done it before, they want to set their tools up on what we would call a call door. You're not going to just, do a final pass into something, you've never cut, and et cetera. But you said a new door. Is your door already in place?
It's in place, but he can pull it off. He's still making adjustments and working on it.
Okay.
So
if it wasn't in place, I would have said just have your door manufacturer do the prep for you, because,
Oh, right. No, it's a regular. Okay. Yeah, no, I've seen that too, mentioned that. It sounds like that would have been a good choice, but no, he has to prep it himself now, so. Okay. Let's see what else. Okay. I think, like I said, I had made the choice yesterday, and the only thing that got me was that the disconnect between the hardware and saying it wasn't there in the web page and in the video saying it was there. So now that I know that it is there, then I think we're good to go.
Yeah, while we were talking, I climbed up a ladder and put my hands on the one of the two items that we are inventory, and yeah, they're in there. I just typos.
Okay, no worries. And okay, so this is as long as the hardware is if you could, I mean, it's brand new in the box, right?
I don't
or
sell
whatever.
used automatic door bottoms. I don't.
Okay, no, I just I just don't want what is I saying? Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if everything's good to go, and then I can get this guy getting on it and have a happy door. But okay, thank you for all the information, and I guess I'll speak to you next week.
Excellent. I'm going to call you next week, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.